Welcome to the weekly collective, everybody. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. I hope you're doing well. This has been a fascinating weekend. We're basically bookended by two major events. We had a new moon, and of course, we're all here together on the solstice. For those of you that are highly sensitive, I'm sure you've picked up on the energy. For me, it's been just a ton of information coming through in dreams and in meditation. So much so that I probably have enough content for like a week. So I'm going to pick the most salient pieces for today during the channeled messages. So if you're brand new, welcome. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. It's good to see you. My little puppy Apollo's behind me, chewing on his toys out of frame. The way that we work on each and every week is basically we'll start off with channeled messages and then kind of navigate our way through a series of portions here. We'll look at channeled messages, 7-day forecast, a quick tap into all of the signs, and then we go into special topic, which is really great right now. And it's Back to the Future, Change Your Timeline. As a kid, the title Back to the Future never made sense because they're like going into the past. But what it kind of means is if you make a change right now, you can affect your future. And you may be on a timeline that's not ideal. There may be another one that's available, and this is about kind of snapping into the grid, if you will. So this is actually really nicely aligned to what's going on in my life because I was meant to move tomorrow, and the place that I was going to move into is no longer appropriate. Like there was some safety hazards there, so I was like, all right, this isn't going to work. And I did a quick tour of it, and I decided I'm not going to do this. And so in the past, maybe I would have just made do. But now I was like, no, that's not going to, I've been there before. So one thing that you can do when you're looking at timelines, because this is going to be our special topic today, is to think back and say, okay, pattern-wise, in this relationship, in this job, in this living situation, how did that work out before? What if I could have gone back and changed things? And this time I'm going to change things so that my future is better. Because in Back to the Future, he made some adjustments and his life was a little bit better. His family was a little bit happier. So it's been a while since I watched it, but I do remember the future versions of themselves being better. So that's the goal here, is to stop ourselves from making choices that are not ideal. So we'll look at that in a moment, but that was already something that was coming through. Every topic choice that I put in there was from a dream message. So one of the things that I was talking to somebody about in my dreams was, you can only move forward. So if I had to just title this as a monthly, that would be what it is. Like, we really have to focus on right here, right now, and then the very next move and how that's bringing us forward. And I was talking about traveling at light speed. So unlike the movie Back to the Future, we can't go backwards. If we move in space and time, it's in the future. And then when we come back, it's so far in the future that people wouldn't even be here. So like if you went to Andromeda, it's about, it would take like, I think it's like 2.5 million years to get there. But if you travel at the speed of light, you're there instantaneously, but that's the amount of time that passed here. You come back, it's about 5 million years later, but it would have been like an instant for you. So we can't change the past. We can only focus on the future. Things can happen faster than you think. The other thing that I saw was a bunch of eggs hatching faster than I thought. So I also feel like anything that we put into our intentions today, forget about New Year's, today, has the potential to be fruitful and to work faster. So we're going to focus on the future. Now, creating better paths for the future. We're going to entertain the probability that our goals and dreams can and will happen faster than we think. I saw about half a dozen eggs hatching, so we're looking at the next half year. There's a lot that can come through the next 6 weeks if we want to get a little more granular. The other thing, looking at my notes really quickly, was, the act of wishing or speaking that wish out loud, which we've talked about, in and of itself is powerful. Declaration of desire, expectations, and boundaries helps create tangible changes that we can see, feel, taste, etc. I want to see if there's anything else that I want to highlight here. There was a bunch. I'm trying to pick the most salient ones. I think that's it. That's pretty much it. I'll go back to some of these as we get into the main topic. Oh, there's just one last thing, and this is kind of what I was picking up on yesterday, which was I saw the energy of fairies, and in mythology and folklore, fairies aren't necessarily fun. They're tricksters. So that's what I was encountering in my own life yesterday, was kind of like fairy magic, where someone was trying to get me to ignore a problem, and I saw it and I'm like, no, that's actually a problem. Gaslighting. So if there's someone that's trying to pull the wool over your eyes, trying to create a mirage or a facade, it's really important in this moment in time and in this week ahead to say, I don't think so. I see what this is, and I see what you're trying to do, and no thanks, okay? So like I said, many more came through. These are the ones that apply the most to the topic you chose and feel most salient for today's reading, so thank you. Okay, we're going to begin, as always, with a 7-day forecast to help us navigate the week ahead. As you know, I do daily forecasts as well to kind of check in and see how we're changing our timelines, because every day that we meet, we change our timelines a little bit more. So that's why I do both the week ahead and also the dailies. All right, got the camera ready. Let's begin. Take a moment, if you will, close your eyes and imagine that you are in a circle of light. Within this circle of light, welcome in your angel, spirit guides, and ascended masters. And let's begin. Okay, let's get everything visible here. And we're going to start off with the energy for today, this Sunday. We have 6 of Cups, but it is reversed. For some of you, you may be pulling back a little bit from social activities, friends, family, and people that you love. Sometimes it can just feel a little overwhelming. There may also be just a little bit of general shyness for some of you on how much you're being seen or reached out to by people around you. So boundaries and also just kind of like guidelines in what you want, what you don't want in interactions is really important. Don't underestimate your power or your potential to bring in possibilities. This is a very social card, so there could just be a little bit of shy energy coming forth. 6 of Cups reminds you that you're worthy, even if you're not feeling completely ready to be seen and to connect with others. Inner child healing is also an important thing that you can do today. And if there's a part of you in the past that has felt rejected, not appreciated, or just needs to have a little bit of love, that nurturing energy could be quite effective today. So be gentle with yourself, have some fun. Hang out with people in your life that don't require like a heavy lift when it comes to how much energy you put into conversations and interactions, okay? So let's see what's coming through at the beginning of the week. We have Emperor energy, but it is reversed. So this could be a situation where your authority, your decision-making, your power is being called into question. Sometimes people are simply asking, why did you do that? Or are you sure? And in these situations, you answer with confidence, because this, and this, because I want to. You're basically reaffirming that you believe in yourself. That's Emperor reversed. This can also be a parent, a boss, or someone in your life that's a little bossy that is trying to pull at your strings, as we see here. They want to be the one that is kind of like controlling things. So they may second guess what you're like, are you sure you want to do that? Or I don't know, like kind of putting in some of that doubt or fear, or as I was mentioning, even like gaslighting, making you try to do something that doesn't feel right. So in these situations, it's important to stand your ground and maybe cut the strings with this person, as we see this Emperor being very used to being the one that pulls the strings. In your own life, there is this exhilaration when you make a choice for yourself. Again, using my example yesterday, I just had to just take power back and say, this isn't what I signed up for. You're not holding up your end of the bargain. I don't want this. And I did it calmly, and I was able to get things worked out. But you never know. You just have to stand up for yourself. Saying no is one of the best ways that you can do that. Looking out for yourself, because as you get older, there may not be this protector, grandparent, parent, partner, or whatever in the picture. You are your own best advocate now and always. It's great to have that person in your life, but even if you don't have them, you can still have this sort of protector energy. You are protected by angels, your higher guides, your higher self, all of that. So know that you're never alone, even if you feel alone. And on Monday, it's important to feel that sense of power, connection, and confidence, okay? Especially in negotiations and difficult conversations. Easier said than done, I know, but important nonetheless. All right, let's move onward to the next day of the week here, Tuesday. It's not bad, actually. There's just a lot of energy when it comes to people around you. So it makes sense. I'm looking at the dates this week, so and I want to see like when Christmas falls. I know many of you are already in the throes of Hanukkah, so that's on the 24th. So it's Thursday. Okay. So this could be work for those of you that are still working. There's a lot on your plate. Ten of Pentacles is coworkers, it's money, it can be family members, it can be this sort of pressure to achieve. So some of you are trying to juggle any number of these things on Tuesday, and it's important to take a step back, kind of like we see this person doing here, and look at how far you've traveled over the course of this year. This Ten of Pentacles shows the marking of time through the rings of the tree. So you're not competing with anyone but yourself. Like, that's a major message that I think gets lost. Athletes know this, but all of us could benefit from this. Whoever you think is your rival or whatever you might be trying to, compete against, it's just you. It's you against you. And then it's also you supporting you. And at the end of your days, it's you judging you. So be kind to yourself. Don't push yourself too hard. And take a moment to celebrate just how far you've come, because why are you working so hard otherwise? In the rings of the tree, we do see family. So there could be some challenges, issues, or familial or even ancestral energy that's coming forth, tugging at you a little bit as well. And it feels like one of the things that you're doing this week, particularly because we had the paternal energy of the Emperor on Monday coming through, is just figuring out how you fit in with society, with your family, with like the expectation of you. And this is a chance for you to flip the script if you want to. So anyway, this is a good day to get things done, but don't overdo it. Ten of Pentacles in reverse shows too much of a focus on money, schedule, expectations, and things of that nature. So focus more on why you're doing something and less on those sort of external pressures. All right? We have the middle of the week being the most powerful day so far, and probably full stop. Yeah, I think this is one of the best days of the week. We have the High Priestess emerging from behind the curtain. So this is a day where things are revealed. It's a great day for anything that you want to see movement on, and anything that you might have been perplexed with previously. Suddenly, it's clear. I want you to embrace the clarity, or I encourage you to embrace the clarity on Wednesday and lean into the possibilities. Trust your instincts. If it feels right, do it. If it doesn't, don't. I did that yesterday. I stepped in and I thought, this isn't it. So it can be a job, a home, a relationship, a party. You step foot in there and you're like, I don't like what's in the air. There's something weird about the energy here. You've got to trust that, because every time in my lifetime that I haven't, I have regretted it. So now at this point in my life, I don't need to, no more regrets. So if you feel it, do it. If you don't, don't. That's really what the High Priestess is telling you. Wednesday is a great day for creative connection. So if you want to do anything artistic, if there's anything that requires your sort of your artistic side, this is the day to really connect with it. It would also be a good day for recording anything that you receive in channeling, dreams, and meditation, so that you can use it for, the year ahead. So we're starting to make some plans here this day. If you have to negotiate, one of the best cards possible, because you can anticipate the needs, the blocks, the questions that your audience might have, okay? Now, as we take a look here at Thursday, which I believe was Christmas for those that celebrate, pretty good card. We have the Six of Pentacles. So there's a reminder with the Six of Pentacles. Some of you may have multiple obligations. This is a balance card. And typically there's a bunch of hands that are outstretched and they're asking for more. So I'm going to look at this on a couple of levels. When it comes to your schedule, you don't have to be everywhere. I remember back when my family was still alive and the entire family was bigger and we lived in another state, there used to be like way too many holiday obligations. This can even happen on New Year's. But like at some point, my family prioritized just spending time together first. Like we're going to start the day together. And then we'll pick one of the other invitations. We can't go everywhere. Because those outstretched hands can represent everyone wants a piece of you and you can't be everywhere at once. So this is true of family gatherings or social gatherings. For those of you that are still working where it's not a holiday, it's about making sure that you don't overextend yourself. There's also a beautiful message that comes through on this card that I probably would only read in the holidays, which is if you have a little bit extra to give, give. This is a card of charity and of volunteering and deciding, okay, I might not have a lot, but I have enough. Why don't I spend some? And if you don't have money, it's like, well, I can spend some time. I can volunteer at a soup kitchen. I can do some reach out. Because we're at a time, and I don't know why I get emotional when I look at this, but there's a lot of people that need support. So if you have a little extra, give a little extra, you'll get a lot back. And that's only something that I would I don't read it that often with this, but we have people here who are in need. And kind of reminds me of a Christmas carol where one of the ghosts, I think it's the Ghosts of Christmas Present, he opens up his robe and he has two children that look very hungry. I think it's Wanton Ignorance or the name of the children. But in everyday life, there's a lot of people that just need. It's just, we're in a time right now where people need support. So if you can do it, if you have a little extra to give, this is the day to give. And it can be in any way, shape, or form, including just the presence of you. Your presence is the present. And I think that's what gets lost in the materialistic world that we're in right now. You don't need to buy me a present. Just be present, okay? Profound but simple. All right, let's take a look at Friday. We have the Nine of Cups in reverse. This, for some of you, can be the food coma, the, oh my God, I'm tired, the sort of payback after an intense previous day. So pace yourself. There might also be a lot on your plate, and it's about emotional highs and lows. So don't let one of those highs or lows get the better of you, okay? Baby steps, and again, less is more. And that's the main message on Friday. Don't overdo anything. Work, exercise, drink, food, party, etc. All of those things in moderation, perfect. If they are the centerpiece of your day or of your life, they're going to be chaotic. You may need a little bit of support emotionally from someone in your life, so feel free to reach out if you do. The holidays and this end of this year period, so December, pretty much from the 20th to the 31st, it is one of the times of the year where people are the most emotional because you see the entirety of the year kind of like coming to a close. There may be people in your life that are happy and you're not feeling happy. Emotions are riding high and possibly low. So be gentle, reach out to a resource friend, etc. if you need it. Friday could be an emotional day. Okay, moving on to the weekend. As we take a look at Saturday, Five of Swords. Someone may not be listening. Someone may be trying to gaslight. Someone may be unable, unwilling, or unready to sort of have the conversation that you need. So don't have it if you don't want to that day, because until somebody's ready, it's really not the right time. The Five of Swords can also be the inner saboteur, whispering things to you like you're never going to be this enough to have that. So don't listen. These are typically shadows of the past, usually voices from friends, family, society that have just kind of been stuck in our energy. So when that happens, take a deep breath, let it go, and think to yourself, either I'm going to prove you wrong, or why the heck not? Why can't I? I'll show you how I can do this. And you just kind of use that energy as ammunition and live your best possible life. One thing that you can do if you have to have a conversation, because sometimes you do. And when I was going through my experience yesterday, there were two people that I talked to. One person told me something wasn't there when it was. And I went to the other party, and I'm like, isn't this what I'm seeing? And they're like, yes. And I came back and I said, please don't try to convince me otherwise. Like, legitimately, you're trying to pull one over here. So you can get information, and then when I was all said and done, I just said, this isn't going to work out. Use calm, declarative language if you aren't feeling it with someone, and just say, thanks but no thanks. This isn't what I signed up for. Let's fix this. When you're in your power and you're in your calm, people kind of just don't know what to do. They're like, okay, we're done. Okay. So you can reach a resolution with clear precision and calm precision. I had great advice from a friend who said this doesn't have to be dramatic. You don't have to make a big deal out of this. Just enter into a discussion with your decision. That is actually the best way probably to handle Five of Swords. Just say, I don't want to do this, or you're not ready to have this conversation. Let me know when you are. And then they know you mean business and they're not going to mess with you. So create a calm boundary and a calm, clear precision to your communication, because these are tricksters. They will use your words against you. So you just want to come through with clarity. The other part is just the inner saboteur, which we talked about. Same thing with that. Tell that voice, get out of here. I've got this. All right. And it looks like we're ending on a really positive note as we look at next Sunday. We have the Fool coming forth, and this is an opportunity to take the first step in a new direction, okay? It doesn't have to be complicated either. That would be one thing that I would say with the Fool. One step at a time, one breath at a time, and try to take with you a feeling of lightness, because the Fool doesn't carry baggage. So it feels like we've been working the entirety of this week to lighten the load so that as you go into almost the new year, I think we have like 2 or 3 days left after this reading, like next Sunday. So it's helping you enter into New Year's Eve, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day with this sense of lightness, okay? So that's the goal this week, is to take one challenge after the other and get them out of your bag, out of that satchel that the Fool carries, so that you can hit the ground, not just walking, but potentially running in the new year. Briefly, let's look at highlights and challenges, and then we'll move into the next portion of this reading. All right, the highlight. Clearly, the High Priestess. She's right there, front and center, opening up, seeing things as they truly are. I think that today could be a highlight if you want to have some fun and connect with others. So this Sunday, Wednesday, and Sunday, those are the best days of the week, because this is a beginning next Sunday. The most challenging days, I think it's going to be Friday and Saturday. Friday because there's an emotional high or low. Saturday because it's either inner saboteur or someone in your life that just isn't listening, and it's not worth your time and energy, and that's the main message there. All right, we're getting ready for the next portion of this, but before I get into that, give me a like and subscribe if you enjoy this. It's free. It allows you to participate. It means a lot. Thank you in advance. And if you'd like to give back a little bit, you can do so through super stickers and super chat. You can also do so through PayPal, whatever feels right for you. All right, so the next part of this reading is going to be an elemental breakdown, giving us a chance to tap into the energy of all of the main signs. Actually, I'll keep this out just in case we need to see it. I'm just going to move the cards here a bit. So let me go ahead and select a different deck for this, and we'll see what messages are coming through. Okay, fire, earth, air, water got two. All right, we're going to start off with fire signs. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Pretty good week for you. We have the Two of Cups representing the opportunity for partnership, showing you that the power of two or more people can allow you to get things done in a quicker, more efficient way, and also a more pleasurable way. Speaking of fun, that is part of the Two of Cups. Make time for others in your life, whether it's your friends, your loved ones, your furry companions. He looks so cute in the background. Whatever it is that you want to connect with, this is a perfect time for you to have those connections. The frequency of love is attractive to people who are interested in you. So if you're trying to find love, friendship, or partnership, really focus on self-acceptance and self-care and self-love. Because when we look for love in others that we don't have in ourselves, we find codependency. So this is a week to really think of yourself as worthy, as lovable, as strong, as capable. Use good adjectives to describe yourself and put them into your mantra, one per day. Hopefully by the end of the week, you have, 7 amazing adjectives. And even if it's just I'm awake and I'm aware, those are strong things because you can see what's going on around you. So start with the easy stuff and work towards the lovable, deserving, etc. Have some fun with that exercise because then that helps others see what you see in yourself. And the fact that you're building up the foundation as we get ready for the new year, it's just around the corner, that portends good things. And because I'm not going to have to move on the next week, I can probably do something for New Year's. So we'll do something special on New Year's Eve, okay? You may just find that relationships take a center stage as well in your life, that people need you a little bit more. So all the boundary stuff that we talked about will also be important. But pretty good energy for the fire signs. Have some fun this week. Let's move on to Earth, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Self-care is really important. We have the Knight of Cups in reverse. Now, a knight is typically moving. When he's reversed, he's looking back at the path that he's just traveled and deciding, is this good for me? Is this enough for me? Am I getting what I need? So you're doing an emotional audit, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, and making sure that you're happy, you're satiated, you're satisfied. And if you're not, then you get to pivot and say, well, then why am I doing this? Why don't I try this instead? We want to get that cup in the upright position, but first you have to let go of some stuff. So think of it as kind of like if you're bringing a piece of furniture in your house and it's full, you're going to probably need to let go of some things. Make room. Make room for yourself. Make room for something else. Make room for something better. The 9 of Cups that we got towards the end of the week, was that on Friday? Yes. So the 9 of Cups on Friday will especially affect some of you because of the intensity of things. Breathe and realize that it's one day, one moment. It doesn't have to be more than that. There could also be something coming into your life that is overwhelming, and it could be good news. So Towers can be good news. Sometimes Cups cards reverse can just be, that surprised me, that kind of energy, but good news nonetheless. Get your feet on the ground. Take a deep breath. Don't make any decisions until you feel like you're the knight upright, okay? So buy yourself time when and if needed. This week, take care of yourself and practice the positive mantras that we mentioned. Let's move on to the Earth signs. Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. You are on fire this week, the High Priestess. She came through at the midweek, Wednesday, so that's clearly your power day, but this energy precipitates the entire week. And so listen to yourself. So like for my own situation yesterday when I had to talk, I talked to a couple of friends. One of them was trying to kind of like convince me to just stick with it. But I did what I just talked about today. I thought about all of the times where I knew better. And I thought to myself, no, I don't want to deal with someone who my first experience, my first impression is this is a mess. This isn't right. I don't want to be here. It's never going to be okay after that. Because I have seen that in jobs and relationships. If your first day or your first impression is lousy, it's going to be very hard to recuperate from that. So just listen to that. Now, you may be also opening up your third eye and your crown and seeing some other things like, oh, I'm interested in that. Or this is an opportunity that I didn't understand or appreciate before. How about that? It can be opening, it can be closing doors, but I want you to pay attention to it. There seems to be a little bit of resistance to what you see. Sometimes you really want something to work, but it doesn't. It could be a setup on a date. Your friends are like, oh my God, you're going to love this person. And afterwards you think, how much do they hate me? That is not a match. That is not what I'm looking for. So I want you to trust in your own instincts in this situation. You know yourself best. You know the situation best. Make some time this week for creativity. Make some time this week for meditation. And even if something that you see is inconvenient, that's often when you need to listen the absolute most. So give gratitude to your higher self and to your own sort of intuition for guiding you on the path that you need, not what you want. So that's the big takeaway for Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. You're going to see what you need to do, not necessarily what you want to do. And that is going to help you as you pivot into 2026, which is mere days away. So let's get things right this week. Let's focus on those downloads and do what you need to do, okay? You still have amazing creative and intuitive possibilities coming forth, and you can also make a great impact if you have any important negotiations. You're very persuasive this week. See through anybody else that might be trying to persuade you to do something that you know better. Okay, let's move on to the water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. We have 2 cards coming through for you. One is reversed, one is upright. The first one is the Wheel of Fortune. It is reversed. The other card here is the 5 of Swords, which came through on Saturday as we were looking at the 7-day forecast, so be very mindful of that. This is interesting because it reminds me of death, change, the ghost of Christmas yet to come, if you look at Christmas Carol, almost exactly the way that it's illustrated. So we see a change in fortune, literally the angel of change or death or transformation, and then it's holding the Wheel of Fortune, change of fortune. If something hasn't been working to your liking, allow it to shift, allow it to change. The wheel keeps turning. So if you're not stuck, you're just in this position. What can you do to accelerate to get into another position? That's the way to look at this. If you're not getting what you need, because this is a card of need, then it's important to figure out how you can have your needs met. Here we have someone trying to convince you that it's enough, but you kind of know that it isn't. The 5 of Swords, again, can be a saboteur, inner or outer, that isn't feeding you the right information. They have a definite slant to it. So if it's someone trying to wave a coin in your face and say, shiny object, this is enough, and you feel like it's not enough, it's not enough. If there's someone in your life that is trying to make you second guess your worth or value, that's on them, not on you. And if you just feel like, now to completely flip this to the positive, if you have an opportunity, a surprise opportunity that's presented to yourself, Wheel of Fortune reverse, and there's doubt or fear from within, dismiss that and say, I'm going to break that chain from the past. I'm going to change my fortune, and I'm going to focus on the now and the next. Because we have a money card and because we have a communication card, this week I want all of the water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, to be very mindful and careful of contracts, of purchases, of conversations around money, and any sort of practical matters of that sort. Get a second opinion, get someone else to look at it, especially if you're looking at a contract, and advocate for your own worth. You are worthy of possibly much more than someone is ready or willing to give you. So you're going to stand your ground and change your fortune, okay? Powerful messages. I felt more intensity this weekend than I would in a normal full moon. And again, we had a new moon, but it felt like a full moon because I have wild and intense dreams, and it's been 2 days of nonstop intuitive downloads. So if you're highly sensitive, please make some time for yourself, for meditation, rest, and self-care. It's absolutely not just valuable, but essential. And take time today to set into motion your resolutions for the new year. It's not too late to do it on New Year's Eve, but it's not as powerful as if you do it today. And I'm going to do the same. After I eat some lunch, I'm going to sit down, write some things down on paper, and really think about what it is that I want to do in the year ahead. Okay. We're going to focus now on your special topic, Back to the Future, how to change your timelines. I'm really excited to look at this. And we're going to do a slightly different approach on the expanded portion where I'm going to look at those areas as are you in the right direction? And then we're going to look at how to change it. So we're not going to drill down. We're going to look at the snapshot and how to change it. And then likewise, as I'm going through the Celtic Cross, we're going to see what paths are beneficial and what aren't. So we'll change up the way that I do it today because it needs to be different. Okay, let me select a deck and see what is calling to me. I use this one. All right, so we're going to use them both. I'm going to use this for the expanded forecast, and I'm going to use this for the main one. And we had Six of Wands, Six of Swords. So I'll do the expanded first on the side. Health, wealth, love, destiny. And then we're going to use this for the rest. I don't think I've gotten a tie before, so that's kind of interesting. Let's take a look at your catalyst first. The card was reversed, so it's about making sure that you take time for all of this. It says, inhale, permission, exhale, relief. You could really inhale any sort of positive affirmation. So yes, you can say something like, I can do this. But you can also inhale this feeling like, I am ready, I am worthy, I can do this, let's do this. And then let go of this fear or whatever it is that you might be holding on to. So the card is reversed, and have you ever noticed when you're stressed out, sometimes your voice closes off a little bit. Sometimes it's just hard to get all the words out because you're not breathing enough. So really do that as much as possible. I had someone that I used to manage that I could tell when they were stressed because they would just sigh. It wasn't something that I ever made them feel subconscious of. I never mentioned it, but I could tell if I was giving them some news that they didn't want to hear. I'd say, what's going on? How are you feeling? I mean, they also wore it on their face, but it was a good coping mechanism. And so we can all breathe a little bit more this week. If you need to sigh, sigh, okay? Let me take a drink, and then we're going to go into what's going on here, and then we'll figure out where you might need to sort of shift the timelines. Okay, so the good news at the center of the spread is we have Six of Wands. And so many of you are doing well, but you might be wanting to sort of do something else. These three cards, you can do a whole reading in the three cards, past, present, future. So present energy is Six of Wands, but it's reversed. So it can be an anticlimactic moment where you've achieved your goal, but you're looking and saying, is this all? What else can I be doing? And there's this desire for maybe a different type of experience or expansion, or you're not growing in the way that you need to. So the first message from this Back to the Future reading, and it's basically, instead of just advice from a future you, this is all the timelines. So I was talking to a friend about this the other day, which is to say that like each choice that we make, we splinter out. So there, especially if you have multiple choices, I could go here, I could go here, I could go here. One of you does each of those. You're living the path that you're living, but there's other paths out there. So what we're doing in this reading is looking at all the channels, all the paths, and seeing what makes sense. And all the versions of you are saying, you've got this, but is it enough? Are you happy? Success is something that is self-defined. Yes, there are plenty of definitions around us in the world. Your family can certainly tell you what they want you to do. Your boss can tell you what they want you to do, but only you can do what you need to do, what you want to do. So what do you need and what do you want? Because you're positioned to get it in the year ahead. You may have already accomplished something, but why and then what next? Because sometimes at the beginning of our lives, I would even argue, like when I went to college and to graduate school, it was out of expectation and the eventuality of like what school was meant to be. So that was society and parents and whatever. So there was part of that where that was just graduating from the expectations. And then when you get into the real world, it's like, what do I want? Because I remember the first day of my first job thinking, this is it. This is the real world. And I was a little depressed for a minute or two. And it took me almost a year to stumble into something that felt really good. So I had to figure out what I wanted, because what society and teachers and parents told me wasn't necessarily what it was, and it isn't the truth. And nowadays, just having an education isn't enough because we're in a strange world. So look at what you need and what you want, make your own choices. And that's really what this is saying right now. Success is what you make of it and what you want it to be. And your success may not fit someone else. So this is good for parents. This is good for partners. If someone in your life is doing something and they're happy and they're good at it, good for them, and let them be. Let them live their best life. And you worry about you and let them worry about themselves. And likewise, if someone's in your energy field too much, it's like, give me some space. And that's who we have here, the Empress. Someone who wants the best for you, but might be driving you a little bit mad. So, space. The Empress is also reminding you that you can do this on your own. So for those of you that have an entrepreneurial flair in your energy, in your life, in your sort of goals, go for it. Sometimes we know absolutely best for ourselves what we should be doing. Take care of yourself, nurture yourself. The most important thing right now is to work on confidence. Whatever you can do, whether it's playing a sport, talking to a therapist, hanging out with a group of people that lift you up and build you up rather than tear you down, whatever you can do to get into the power of the Empress, that's what you should be doing for at least the next week or so. And then I love that she's leaning into prayer and meditation. So it can be whatever you want that to be. That experience is different for each of us, but being quiet with yourself and connecting to Source, whether that is outside, whether that's in a dance room or in a mosque or a church or a temple, I don't care. There's so many different ways to plug into Source. Plug into Source this week and allow that to also support you as you move into the next part of your life. But guess what we have at the center? Success and power. So basically your guides and all the versions of you that you brought forth today are saying you're pretty powerful and success is already within your DNA. Your energy, okay? Now, taking a look here at deep past. One of the opportunities in this moment is to release and to let go of familial sadness, ancestral sadness, or this feeling of I'm not worthy, because the cup should be upright and flowing, like overflowing. So we want to get you into the receptive mode. Something came through and kind of shut off the satellite or put the chalice upside down, and we're not in the receiving mode. So what your guides want you to do is flip it and say, now I am ready. I might have not been ready before, and maybe I have some regrets over that, but better to wake up now than to never wake up, and better late than never. So that's your pepping up and forgiving yourself mantra right now. Better late than never. Let's do this now. And let's do it the best possible. You're ready now. That's all that matters. All the things that led you to today gave you the feeling of I'm ready. I'm ready and I'm worthy. We got to get to that worthiness. So one of the things that you can really do to shift to a new timeline where people see your worth is to believe it. I'm worth more than this. Whatever this is that's not enough. And I'm willing to stand up for myself. And I'm not afraid. Because the worst that will happen is someone will say no, or you'll have to fight a little harder. But you never know. That was the message from today. You never know until you ask. We had an ace in reverse, I think, or something like that. So you never know until you ask, so ask and stand up for yourself. We have Janus, the gods, coming through here in the recent past. Looking at the past, looking at the future, somewhere in the middle in the present. Are you in or are you out? That's really what Spirit wants you to know. Because we have the world coming in the future position on the other side of this. So the most important thing that you can do for yourself today and over the next 6 or 7 days is to ask yourself, am I in or am I out of this situation, and make a decision. That will then open up a bunch of other choices that you hadn't already thought about. I think I've changed 3 timelines this year. I was going to move to another state, then to another country, then to a place here. None of them worked. None of them were right. I don't force connections. If there's something that happens where it's not right, I'm like, the timing isn't right for that. So I'm not afraid to change on a dime, and I do that sometimes because it's instinct and intuition. So don't be afraid to change. The door is wide open. So today is powerful. New Year's Eve and New Year's Day will be powerful too because it's a liminal space between 2 years. It's arbitrary, but we gave it power, therefore it's powerful. So anything that you think is powerful is powerful. So if you make a wish on New Year's Eve and you think it's going to come true, because you believe it, it will come true. If you make a wish on your birthday and you think it'll come true, it's the power of believing. So believe today is powerful, believe New Year's Eve because you get more wishes that way, so it's fine. But I really want you to get clear on at least one or two things, and today make a decision, and then New Year's Eve make a decision. And this is now more practically a card of dreaming and then doing. Typically on the Two of Wands, you will see a world, and so I'm going to pull the card while we're talking. It's a comparison. So take a moment this week and ask yourself, how did I get here? How far have I come, and where do I want to go? He's holding the globe. This is the past. This is the future. And the world is a globe. It's like the earth. So he's deciding if he wants to flip the script or try something different, and you can do that if you want to, okay? Super symbolic and auspicious that this is bookended by that, and also super appropriate that the god of ends and beginnings came through here, Janus. So this is a moment to look at the past, look at the future, and make the best decision right now. And to help you do that, smack dab in the middle, we have the sun. The sun is in reverse. The sun wants to be playful, to go forth, to be born. This is a card of birthing, creation, fun, childlike energy, power, solar plexus. When it's reversed, there's something that you're holding back. So I can interpret this clearly for you in two different statements. Don't hold back, and now is the time. Whatever that kind of applies best to in your life. Don't hold back in showing who you are, what you want, and now is the time to take action. Okay? And you can see this, the Ankh that he's holding there in his right hand. Now is the time to own your power, which we've seen time and again in this reading. We had the Emperor, now we have the Empress, now we have like a representation of Ra, the sun god. It is time, folks. Now is the time. Okay? Think expansively, not sort of in a contracting way. So the world reversed has just about everything that it needs, but there is a fear like, well, I kind of want this, but maybe that's too much to ask for it. Ask for it. Go for it. Try it. You never know. This is breaking through your own fears, your own expectations. You're surprising yourself, all of the aforementioned. However, there's a couple of caveats with the reversed world. Things may not happen as quickly as you want. There may be a delay or they may be accelerated. The speed with which things happen could be perplexing or uncomfortable, but they may be necessary. This is a much better version of necessary change than, say, for instance, the Tower, which is super uncomfortable and absolutely necessary and pretty much inescapable. So this, it's just saying roll with the punches. Roll with it a little bit and you'll be okay. I like that we see playful energy and it's sort of like dancing in that creative energy and allowing whatever needs to be. You're either moving on, moving up, or moving out with the World card. And if it's not expanding, then there's something that needs to be addressed. Okay? And you have two optimal timelines in front of you. We'll look more at that as we kind of expand here, but the Two of Wands tells me that you can stay and succeed or you can go and expand. I will say this. The world, it definitely is in a higher suit than the Six of Wands. So for some of you, jumping into something new and different, it's a more expansive energy than this, which I would connect to the face looking in the past. So if you want to try something different, it could be quite beneficial, okay? Rise above fear, rise above stress, rise above, basically here in the Nine of Swords. This is one of the more beautiful illustrations. Typically, we see all the swords in the background, the person not being able to sleep, not being kind of frozen in indecision sometimes too. So she is saying, okay, I see it, I feel it, I recognize it, but it doesn't define me. And it's kind of like in one of the last sort of special readings, I did the litany of fear. Just let it pass through you, whatever the emotion is. And then when you're still there at the end, you're like, now what do I feel? Now that that emotion is passed, is it any different? You may need to get more sleep. You may need some stress management. You may need assistance with both of these things. So if there is insomnia, stress, or stress-related issues going on, get some support, get some help. I do like to sort of like impress upon people that with Nine of Swords, it's usually better than you think it is. You're putting too much emphasis on something, and it could be much, much easier, better, or lighter than you might imagine. Okay? Environmentally, we have Queen of Pentacles in reverse. This is someone or something around you that is taking more than it needs to. This can also be the sort of like helicopter energy that you get from a boss, mom, friend, or someone who wants to control you, which we saw with the Emperor and all his strings in the 7-day forecast. So you push right back in this situation. And there comes a point also where you are not a battery for someone or something else. So they may push back and say, but I need you, but I want you, but you know, and at that point you have to say, but also I have some needs and desires and etc. So make sure that you get what you need. Don't get to the point of exhaustion, and take care of yourself and have some fun. The Queen of Pentacles is one of the universal caretakers and just lovely energies that you can pull in the minor arcana, but she has a hard time sometimes doing that for others. Let's look at the traditional card for a second, and I'll give you a couple more comments before moving on. And then we'll take a look at timelines as we go into the expanded forecast. That's kind of where I'm leaving that part of this. So one thing that I see here also could be someone around you that has sort of like this tendency to they overindulge. They overdo it. It can be a little bit exhausting because you may be the person that's trying to get them from going to excess. There's only so much you can do in that situation. All right, if we look at the high level energy of this, we see the little bunny, which I'm connecting to those little chicks that are hatching fast. I honestly feel like your fortune, your money, your luck is about to change, and movement is going to be swifter than you think. That's why the world was in reverse. But you have to take care of yourself. Make sure that you get your fair share, because someone else is seeing your potential and possibly tapping into that more than they need to. All right, let me take a drink, and then we're going to look at the Four of Wands. Okay. Hopes, fears, opportunities. Good stuff. This is one of just the best partnership cards that you can get. It came through reversed. So for some of you, there is a yearning. I think that's the best word, a desire or a yearning to have this. You see something in TV or you read something in a book and you're like, why can't I have that? You can have that. So instead of why can't I have that, how and when will I find that? You're telling the universe I'm ready. Now you're saying, show me where, when, and how I can accomplish this goal. And I'm going to also recognize that I have a lot to offer. I'm already standing in the Four of Wands, ready to receive the partnership, the love, and the firm foundation that this card promises. But I realize I might have to stand there for a moment or two on my own. Or I might need to just hold space for someone to show up. Because in most decks, you see the couple approaching the Four Wands rather than in this. But what this offers us is a key to get what we want. So we'll do this today. Remind me in chat when we go into the meditation. But what you kind of want to focus on is pretending, psyching yourself into this, that you've already accomplished your Four of Wands moment. Imagine how good it feels, if it's partnership, to be looking into the eyes of someone who loves you unconditionally. If it's a foundational energy, friendship, or something that you're trying to build, to have built it and to have the celebration that this card promises. Like, I did it. It feels great. It wasn't just a dream. Why did I doubt myself? So you have to put yourself in that energy and feel the goodness and the inevitability that this will happen. Now you're just looking for the door to open up. Okay? So and it is inevitable, provided that you believe it, provided that you embody it, and provided that you don't rush to it. Easier said than done. We all want it now, but you can pretend that you're in it now and feel good about it and then say, when it happens, I'll recognize it. It'll be like, where have you been? Friend, opportunity, space. This is what I want. That is how I found this place, and that's why I'm not leaving this place until I find something where I feel that sense of home. But a relationship can be home, a job can be home, love, environments, whatever. You need to feel like you're at home and safe. In the outcome, we have the Three of Cups. It is reversed. It is a celebration. There could be some delays to the celebration, but it's happening nonetheless. Three of Cups can also be gossip, and it can also be someone that's trying to get in the middle of something where they don't belong, because we have the Empress here. So know your boundaries. Time and again, they're coming through in this reading. It's important to establish and reestablish and embody those boundaries. This also is excess. So this can be over drinking, overworking, over anything. Everything in moderation is a message that comes through time and again. And don't rush it. So let's say you'd meet your Four of Wands moment. The Three of Cups in reverse is like, revel in it for a little bit. Get to know it for a little bit. And I'm saying it because the Four of Wands can represent something foundational. But if it's a person, like, don't rush the connection. Because this is the honeymoon. You don't want to go through the honeymoon phase too soon. Enjoy the honeymoon phase. Anything new, you want to kind of just enjoy the feeling of being in it. In love or in success or in joy, whatever you're in. Have fun with that for a second. Party a little bit in that for a second. There'll be plenty of time to put in the work later, but get to know who you are, who they are, what it is before you go deeper, okay? That is just as important as the eventual expansion and depth that will come. So the Three of Cups is your friend. And also you might meet someone at a party. So say yes to an RSVP, even if you're a hermit. You have a chance of meeting somebody new. Could just be a friend. All right, we're going to do something very different, as I mentioned, with the expanded forecast. This is pivoting into timelines. So I want to see where you're at in your timeline in the expanded forecast topic points. So let me find everything here, and we'll talk a little bit deeper about all of this. So we're going to first look at health and see where you're at in the timeline of health. Well, your guides came through with a pretty clear message, which is a change could do you good, to quote Sheryl Crow from like the late 90s. I think it was late 90s. And this is connected with Janus. You got like 1 foot in and 1 foot out, and the Six of Swords is saying, let's do this now. Let's make this change for our health and well-being. Stepping into or out of something. You can't do it half-hearted. You can't do it halfway. So until you're ready to fully engage, this is just idling. The boat isn't going anywhere. And by the way, where are the rowboat? Like, they need the rows, whatever, the oars. They need the oars to row the boat. So action is missing from the Six of Swords. And I don't see like a little, engine to power it. So what are you doing to create the momentum in the movement? Because this, and especially in the reverse position, it represents stagnation. So the timeline right now is idling or stagnating. The opportunity is to engage. So we're going to pull another card and ask, how can you get from the idling phase? I'm trying to decide. Maybe I will do oracle cards for the breaking through the timeline or shifting the timeline. This card keeps coming through, doesn't it? So loving kindness for difficult people, may you be filled with peace. Also just peace in the understanding that this is what you need. Difficult people, difficult decisions may be in front of you. And it's important to just say, I need to move on. If there is a difficult person that is blocking progress, in any aspect of your health and happiness, sometimes you can't change them. Sometimes you don't need to change them. Sometimes you just need to focus on you. Let's pull also an oracle card to solve this. So I'm going to do a combination here since we can go a little bit deeper and we're looking at timelines. What is the new timeline and how can you get there? What is the new timeline and how can you get there? It's whatever the heck you want it to be. So we have the Magician card coming through. And I love that there's also two candles, or the candle being burned at both ends. You can make this whatever you want it to be. How to get there is belief. Belief and focus. This is one of the most auspicious and magical cards. Any problem that you have, if you get the Magician, there's a good chance that you can surpass expectations. I did that recently with what was going on with my ear. I'm still on some allergy medications. That was another reason moving into this place. There was some problems there that were going to affect the allergies, and I didn't want that. But initially, I wasn't sure if I could. Like I said, I still have some eustachian tube dysfunction, but it's not bad. It can be managed. But I wasn't sure if I get my hearing back or if I could get through it. And there was a part of me that just said, you're not only going to get through this, you're going to surprise the doctors. So for those of you that are have gone through cancer, have gone through a really difficult health incident and have surpassed expectations because you're stubborn, because you were like, no, I'm going to get better. I'm going to rehabilitate this arm. I'll show you I can find flexibility. Use that inner stubbornness, that inner magician, and push through a perceived block. Move forward and know that you can also make the most of tomorrow. So looking at this solely as a health message, time to shift your environment, time to move away from a difficult person if needed, and time to focus. Do whatever you can to focus. These are the general health messages. But the Magician tells me you can move in the direction that you want to if you believe and if you focus on that, okay? Pretty powerful. Looking at anything else here that I need to, just related to timelines. There's more than one, because this is, the Two of Wands shows that there's more than one way to accomplish what you want, and that the big block for you can also be in not thinking expansively enough. Solar plexus energy could be a focal point where there is some challenges. So digestion, for those of you that might be pregnant, for those of you that just might be holding on to stress, I'm getting the stomach area as an area to focus on the most. And really, really be mindful of overdoing yourself and any, like I said, overworking, overstressing, overexercising, overeating, drinking, etc. All right, let's move on to wealth. And let's see where you're at right now. This came through in the elemental breakdown, I believe. So we had the Ten of Pentacles coming through for one of the elements. So with the Ten of Pentacles in reverse, look at that big eyeball in the center. Who are you doing it for? What are you doing this for? Your school, your career, your life purpose. Is it for you or is it for optics, the external eyes on you, the expectations of others? The reversal of this is saying turn the eye inward. Use the third eye. That's the eye that we want to be focusing on, is that eye up there. What does it want? What does it show you? What does it tell you? So we have Six of Wands and the Empress at the center of the spread. So success is already upon you. But is it enough? Is it what you want? Is it for you? Let's get an oracle card to see how to shift the timeline or what's coming through. Like, what's the alternate? Then we'll look at how to get there. So show me some more information about this timeline and if you should stay or go. I think that's the best way to look at this one. Okay. I've definitely been here. In school, in work, in life. Fire and ice. There may be someone whom you are connected with in this sort of energy of personal development and expansion, which is part of what wealth comprises. And it's like, when it's good, and when it's bad, it's fire and ice. You guys are opposing forces. You bring out the best and worst. If this is a situation that you don't have to be in all the time, it may be best not to. I can think of like a musical example. You see this in bands a lot, but like Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham, fire and ice. When it's good, it's good. When it's bad, it's bad. And they can't seem to keep the band together because there's too much. There's too much baggage, too much energy. And they're not complementary. Sometimes they are pushing in opposition. You can think of a myriad of other examples, but I think it's time to find more harmony, and this is not harmonious. So if I could see what's missing right now, it's the harmony. It's the middle ground. Between fire and ice is water. So there needs to be something that's more fluid, that's easier, that isn't as extreme, not frozen, not incendiary, something that flows. So when you're looking at wealth, which again comprises resources, life purpose, and career, it should flow with ease. If it's butted up against something, it's not the right match, okay? How can you move in the right direction? What's the other timeline showing you? Queen of Cups, there we go, water flowing. Okay, more creativity, more ease, more fun, more joy. Whatever it is that you're seeking should provide that, because she still isn't getting that satisfaction because the card was reversed. Make sure that you're happy. Make sure that it's enough. Make sure that you feel good. And when you exit whatever it is that you're putting your time, energy, and resources in, because that's wealth, that you feel like it's good enough, that it gave back to you as well. It doesn't have to be just in money. It can be like, I made a difference. I made a dent in the world. It can be that kind of wealth, like satisfaction, fulfillment, healing. But if you're not getting that, why are you staying? Advocate for your joy and make sure, again, between fire and ice is water, and she's still not allowing things to flow. That was really auspicious that we got the right element there. Just generally looking at this for everybody when we're looking at themes when it comes to your personal development, your money, your resources. If we just look at this section of cards, there's a power struggle. There's more than one way, and you're either moving up, moving on, or moving out. So if you can't move up and you can't move on, then you have to go in a new direction. And that's why we had the Six of Swords coming through in health, kind of countering the Six of Wands. And there's more than one way to success. There's more than one way to love. There's more than one, because we have 2 love cards. We have a couple of success cards. There's choices in front of you. Make the choice that empowers, that makes you satisfied, that is meeting these expectations beyond your wildest dreams. World, 4 of Wands, and 3 of Cups, like 3 of the best cards you could possibly pull in a spread, but they're reversed, so there's something holding you back from that. So it doesn't matter if it's school, work, or extracurricular stuff. If there's someone or something that's holding you back from accomplishing what you know or what you believe in, that block, that's what you really want to focus on releasing, because I only see good things ultimately coming forth for you. I think it's really important in this period to transcend, release, and manage stress better. All of the above, because your stress is a constant in the modern world. We're never not going to have some degree of stress, but it's what we do with the stress and how we go through it. Like yesterday, I went through all the phases of grief in the course of like 3 or 4 hours, and had to wait until I got through it to then have a conversation where I declared what I wanted. So emotions are always going to be there, and we have to recognize them and process them, because if we don't, then they get the better of us, okay? And the stress card is probably the only thing that's holding you back. We don't have a devil. We don't have a tower. We don't have a 10 of swords. We do have a 9 of swords. And that's the only thing in this whole spread that is kind of shady, kind of shadowy. Everything else is really good. So I think the main thing to focus on in wealth is stress management and moving beyond a controlling force that may want to somehow manage, control, or pivot your trajectory, which you know best. Okay? Let's move on to love. All right. Thankfully, things look good here. We have an Ace of Pentacles. I did mention it was the Ace of Pentacles that came through. Now it's all coming back to me. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. So, because I had dreams about eggs and eggs hatching. And we have 4 of Wands and 3 of Cups. And I remember seeing about a dozen. There are options. There are many options. So you are not... oh, thank you, by the way. We just made our goal. So we will do something special at the end. And I haven't decided yet what. We'll probably do a vote on that. Back to this. You are not solely defined by one person's opinion of you, by one person's love, by one achievement. There's so much more. At least 6 other things that wanted to come through, that wanted to hatch. So that gives you a sense of freedom and liberation. All right, that person, place, or thing doesn't want me, but something else does. Let's keep focusing on not only where that opening is, but also what is enough for me. Do I want it in return? It should be mutual because this Ace of Pentacles is in the upright position. Giving and receiving with equity and equanimity and harmony and balance. And it all begins with this sense of I am enough. This is a really good card to come through in love. A lot of times people are just looking for Ace of Cups, 2 of Cups, Lovers, 4 of Wands, or like the Queen of Cups. We got a lot of those, by the way. But I also want to get the Ace because this is marriage. This is someone who's interested in you beyond the Ace of Wands, which is passion, beyond the Ace of Cups, which is the heart, and what did I miss? Beyond Ace of Swords, which is just conversation. They're in it. They're invested. That's what this is. They're invested. So as you look at the key relationships in your life, thank you, Spirit, for getting me there. Are you invested? Do you want it? Because why are you doing it if you don't? There needs to be equal levels of investment, or as equal as possible. And as long as that sense of equal investment exists, you've got this. If you want something, ask. If someone isn't sure, don't push them. If someone asks you and you're not sure, just say thanks but no thanks, or this isn't the right time, because you need to have the equal levels of investment. Overall, looking outside of that, right now, there could be additions to the family that I'm picking up on with the Sun card in reverse, unexpected pregnancy or birth, or an early pregnancy. There could be a decision, like I said with this, the world and this Ace are absolutely connected. Is it enough? Is it too fast? Is it too little? You're weighing this against expectations. It may just be surprising you at the speed with which things are progressing. Because we see here commitment, love, expansion, celebration. But they're all happening in a timeline you didn't expect. Because sometimes when you let go of it and you think, I'm just going to focus on something else, if it's meant to be, it'll be, then it just comes rushing in. So there could just be that level of surprise. But we also have to get to that point where really you are enough. And it doesn't matter if you're in a relationship looking for love or single and happy. You are always enough. You have to be enough for yourself. And as you engage with other people, bosses, friends, landlords, whomever, they have to see the worth and they have to recognize it. And if they don't, okay. But if you are looking for love, the Ace of, by the way, these are good cards. These are all good cards. Yes, someone could be coming in, not someone that you already know, possibly someone that's a little bit younger. Don't rush into the relationship. Don't fall head over heels. Give yourself time to enjoy, and it could be an earth sign. We got a lot of clarity on that, so I had to at least hit on that. For everyone else, it might be time to take a trip together or just take a trip in general. That's also coming through. All right, let's go to the Destiny card. Oh, and I already got so much information on that. Let's just see if there's anything that we need to do about the current timeline. So are you on the right timeline? I kind of helped you with this. So we have the loneliness card. I know that I'm never alone. Isn't that exactly what I said? Like, rewind this. I said, you're not alone even if you feel like you're alone. You have your higher self. You have the potential. Well, you probably have friends and people around you, but some of us are looking for the passionate connection here. And so in order to attract that, we have to also be completely comfortable with ourselves. So I'm acknowledging that you can be in a relationship and be lonely. You can be alone and be lonely. You can be in a crowded room and be lonely, but you can also be alone and not be lonely. So we want to get you to that phase of not feeling like you're not enough or that you're alone. Find other levels of connection, peers, friends, people that have common interests. Build that out so it's not just about the passion. That's one place where you can find partnership, but it's not necessarily the best, and it definitely is one of the more complicated ones. So build out your network so that you have lots of connections. Build up the self-confidence so that you know that you're enough. And then when you find the passionate component, that's the cherry on top. That's not the goal. And unfortunately, at this time of year, whether we're watching, actually, you know what? I haven't looked at it this year, but what is the holiday movie where it's not all tied up in a loose end? Love Actually. It's a mess. It's the messiest. I like that one because not everyone has a happy ending. So we can see that love is messy. There are many people that don't end up pairing up in that movie, and that's more like real life than what we see sometimes. Even that guy that, the guy from like Walking Dead that pulls all of he's like, enough now at the end of all of that. He's in love with Keira Knightley's character. So we have to realize that we are enough and that we deserve better than that, and that there are certain things that aren't worth our time and energy. So really focus on that, and don't pay too much attention to the Hallmark stuff that comes through at this time of year where everybody has to leave the big city. Everybody has to go back and marry their high school sweetheart. It's just marketing, folks. All right. Is there anything you need to do to shift the energy of loneliness aside from what we just said? Okay, Five of Wands. Five of Wands is interesting. You know what it's actually saying is relationships are work, but they shouldn't feel like a job. Both of you should be putting in the work and working, but if it ever feels like it's a job, this isn't it. Because there should be this general feeling of we're doing this together. Look at how far we've come. But if you're bossing them around, they're bossing you around, and or you feel like you're being judged or it's too much work, this is the point where you have to make adjustments. It doesn't mean that you have to leave. This isn't an extremist, because we have to go back to, it's not fire and ice. We have to find the water in the middle, right? But that's the whole point. If it is constantly ultimatums and all of that, then it's a little bit too much, right? A good Hallmark movie is okay. I'm looking at the comments. But we just have to realize the difference between fantasy and reality. And there's only 5 plots that they recycle on that network. It's always like the hidden prince or princess, the person that went to the big city that forgot their roots. And then sometimes it's the person that's divorced or widowed and that's finding love. I don't know. There's only like 5 stories. I'm not going to go through them all. But like every time I'm like, oh, okay, we're going through. Oh, the amnesiac, always someone that lost their memory. Or the spoiled brat that figures out that there's more to life. Like, it's fun. It's predictable. It's candy, but it also leaves you with a stomach ache afterwards sometimes. So that's my hot take on some of the holiday movies, particularly the Hallmark Network. And I know that wherever those silly movies are being imported or exported, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, let's take a look at the Destiny card, and then we'll go into the bonus portion, which you unlocked today. So in the Destiny portion, we have Hierophant energy. Hierophant is reversed. The Hierophant is a strict and conditional and hierarchy-based card. There is a resistance to hierarchy. There is a resistance to rigidity with this card in the reverse position. So some of you are like, I don't want to do that. And that is okay. You might also be existing in a company, in a relationship, or in a environment that is rigid, autocratic, controlling. Something about this doesn't vibe. And so let's see if you need to stay or go. Let's see what the general message is around this. Sorry, there's so many cards, it's hard to keep them perfect here. Okay. Get out of town. So I mentioned at the beginning that I saw fairy energy coming through. And not in the sort of like Bluebell fairy or Tinkerbell. Tinkerbell kind of caused some trouble too, but more in like sort of like connected to the trickster energy. What I was shown, and I'm going to watch like maybe the 1999 version of it today, was A Midsummer Night's Dream. And without getting into the plot of it too much, because it's been a long time since I read or watched it. But it's basically supernatural people behind the scenes casting this sort of love spell on everyone and creating chaos. So there may be someone in your life that's trying to get you to love something that you don't. It can be a parent, and it could be something like, but it's such a good job, or that person's got such a good background, or that's such a good neighborhood, whatever. But you think to yourself, but I feel out of place in this. And so don't take that elixir that they're trying to get you to take to compromise. Push back and stay very awake, aware, and sober, and say, but I don't want it. You can have it if you would like. Feel free to take my place because I want this instead. So you're kind of sobering up. Now, this card is reading gratitude. Be grateful for the clarity that comes with the understanding of what you want or don't want. And for some of you, you don't want the restrictions or the expectations that the Hierophant wants. It is very much his way or the highway. And notice in the background, his disciples are under the pressure and the restraints and the sort of hierarchy that I talked about. They're not even in the foreground. Typically, they do need to bend the knee, they do need to kiss the ring, or they are sitting there sort of subjugated by that. So you don't have to do that if you don't want to. And there may be this inner desire to pivot a little bit. It's not always fun to know that, but there is gratitude in knowing what you want and don't want, okay? How can you shift out of the Hierophant reversed? Because it feels like many of you want to pivot out of something restrictive. Okay, this is a strange illustration. This is Six of Cups. I have no idea why they put cacti on this, but but that's fine. The Six of Cups in reverse. There may be well-intentioned or well-meaning people in your life. I'm going to go to a more traditional one because that is bizarre. But you don't have to say yes. So again, it's someone who loves you, or it's people who want the best for you, but they're trying to push a template of themselves onto you, and you just have to say, I'll pass. Also, it's the inner child coming out. So here's the key to success. Some of you may have already kind of like come to a realization of who you are, what you want to be as a little kid, and somebody talked you out of it. Parent, teacher, whomever. The little kids know what they want best. The Hierophant comes through saying, that's not the way we do it in the world. You know what? The little kid knew best. And you don't feel like bending the knee. So go back to the inner knowledge of your inner child and say, I'm going to do it anyway, and find that path to happiness or success. You know yourself. You deserve to be happy. Have some fun. This is the opposite of a stuffy cathedral. They're outside, they're in the fresh air, they're having fun, they're smelling the flowers. This, it's stuffy air, someone's reading from an old script, it's boring. It's time to kind of change it up a little bit and have a little bit of fun and be in an environment where it's a little bit more in that field. For the life of me, I have no idea why they chose cactus on this, cacti, other than sometimes it can be a little bit like relationships. You might meet someone who is just a little bit prickly towards you, or there may be a little bit of difficulty in warming someone up, but there might be potential there. But overall, we're just going to read this as a normal Six of Cups, which is have some fun. It's your turn. Also, there may just be someone that doesn't want you to get your flowers. And the Hierophant is very much like, they're holding court. So find a place where there's room for many people. Everyone can get their flowers. You can have some fun. You can breathe a little bit. I think that's important. Okay? All right. I got to clear the table off because we have like a bazillion cards here. While I'm doing that, if you enjoy what you see here, do me a favor, like and subscribe. And I'm going to figure out how we're going to expand this today. We can look at a different topic, or we can go kind of deeper into some things that you guys might be dealing with. So let me just get all the cards sorted out, and then I'm going to take a look at the topics and weigh in. Feel free to throw a couple ideas in chat while I'm getting the myriad of cards cleared off here. All right. You can also follow me on social media and give back if you'd like to. But we're going to enter into a bonus portion today that you unlocked. So thank you for unlocking that. I'm going to quickly take a look at our special topics today, which all came from dreams. So the second one was messages from the departed could be nice. I'm going to throw this up for a vote. So let's see what you want to do. It's your choice because you unlocked it. So here are some options that we can do. Looks like we're going to probably end up with messages from the departed, but oops, wrong one. Hold on. So let me put up a poll, and you can vote on the bonus portion. So messages from the departed. Let's see what one of the other topic ideas was. Deeper insights and understanding. Okay, let's do that. Or so okay, let's see, insights. I'll just say insights, what you need to know, or what, yeah. I'm just going to keep it to 2 because these are both good options. So let's see if one of these strikes a chord. Vote on the bonus portion. Oh, I guess I need to do a third one for it to work. Okay. So I will take like chicken and the egg as the other one, give you a chance to look at this. Which step comes first? For those of you that are feeling blocked. Okay, there are your 3 choices. While you're doing that, to give you time to vote, because I'm on a slight delay, let's go ahead and do our final question first. That's how I kind of do it. It's no longer really the final question, but the silent question. I might rename it if we do these. All right, so for the final question, think about something that we talked about or didn't talk about today, where you need some more clarity. Go ahead and ask a question to Spirit or Source. Okay, we have a very good card that came through for this. So in a yes or no scenario, the Lovers is in a resounding yes. And it's reminding you that you're worthy, you're ready, you're deserving, as long as you believe in all of those things. This is a great time for love to come through, for new connections to come through, and for you to put yourself out there. And also put your ideas out there, because this can represent the reception, which is they love you or they loved that. So really great energy coming through on this holiday week. So yes, an emphatic yes. And it looks like we have a winner, a pretty big winner. So we're just going to end the poll and go with messages from the departed. Well done, folks. And the way I'm going to work this is I'm going to look at different people in your life. So I'll go through the different categories like parents, partners, children, pets, whoever might be departed, and we'll pull through a few messages, okay? Let me take a drink. Go ahead and create some space and call in the person that you want while I'm taking a drink here. All right, I'm going to call in angels of my own here. Michael, Raphael, Uriel, Gabriel, call in ascended masters, create a space of light. All right, in this moment, I welcome in my guides to help interpret these messages. Allow me to be a conduit for the messages to come through, but protect my space so that so that I only get one at a time, or what I need to get as I do this. All right, we're going to focus first on parents. I'm going to pull a card for mothers that might be departed. And we'll leave it with mothers, and then let's see if there's a specific message from mothers. On the other side, a mom. All right, this is kind of fun and playful, and I get it. So they wish that they were there. If you've ever wondered, does your mom that's in spirit see or experience what's going on? Not only that, but they wish they were there. And also for some of you, you might be focusing a little bit on, there could have been some challenges in the maternal relationship where there was this feeling of envy or competition, and the mom is nodding to that. So that could still be something that you're working on. The energy that they see in you that they're bringing forth is this feeling of, look at how strong you are. This is one of the most powerful court cards because Queen of Swords knows her voice. She stands up for what she believes in. She takes action. She's pretty strong. And there's a part of them that wishes that they were here to say that to you, but they're coming through in this message here. So I wish I was there. I am there. And a little bit of envy, like, oh, this is the good part, or wishing that they could be there to support you, but they're encouraging you to use your voice to speak up and to take action. Okay? And very strong energy. This is like attracts like mother, like daughter. So there's just this shooting straight from the hip kind of energy. So they came through loud and clear, and they wish they were here. Okay? Thanks to the moms. All right, I'll leave that to the side. Let's see what father energy wants to come through. I love that we're getting like almost absolute matches for masculine and feminine. All right, what kind of message does the paternal energy want to bring forth? It's interesting. Okay, so first of all, what we see here as a sort of characteristic of the father here is someone that maybe wasn't necessarily a person of words, but more actions. I'm going to go a level further on this one and just say, what do they see in you? That a lot of change happening. And they wish also that they could be there. And one thing that I get here, this is really like spiritual, but they didn't realize until they passed through. There might have been a skeptic, someone that was very practical, but the minute that they walked through the tunnel, it's sort of like, oh my God. Okay. So I think that there was a wish that there was more that was said than there was. They showed it. And so they said, I love you in a demonstrative energy, not so much in the communication energy. So now they see it. They're having a more difficult time. Well, there was a little bit of difficulty. I think it could be the time of year that we're reading this for both mom and dad, because this is this feeling of like they don't want you to be lonely, and also they wish they could come back more often. It does take a lot of energy, folks, to transmit across the void. There could have also been someone that just passed, and they're in the soul review stage, because this feels very fresh or very vivid in their mind's eye. So just know that they are adjusting to this new version of themselves. And I do feel like communication will come through later. Because I did this extra card for father, let me just do it for mother too. Is there anything that they see in your life that they want to communicate? Be honest with yourself. So the mother energy is saying, be honest with yourself, and they want you to keep better company. I mean, this is a Queen of Swords energy coming through. There might be someone in your life too that like gossiped or did something wrong. They saw that. This is also the energy of envy, and they might be seeing someone in your life that they're like, be careful. So if you know someone in your life, maybe mom isn't envious. I wanted to get some confirmation here. There could be someone around you, a frenemy, or someone that just doesn't have your best interest. They're trying to protect you there. So you'll know who they're talking about if that's the case as well. But this is also just like, don't be your own worst enemy. Be honest with yourself. And they want the best for you, okay? Very powerful messages coming forth from those family members. All right, I'm just going to leave these out of frame so I can review them if I need them. All right, sibling energy. We'll go with brother, then we'll look at sister. Brother first. What does brother think of you, or what does he see? And what's the message or the presence that's coming through? Okay, so the brother energy. What I get from the brother is someone who maybe had a hard time listening, talked more than they listened, but was a deep thinker, interestingly enough, and wishes that they could listen more, that they could have been there more. Maybe they were just very busy too. But a busy mind and just a lot going on. What they see in your life is, wow, you're doing so much. Eight of Pentacles represents school, learning, rolling up your sleeves, doing a lot. And you're doing a great job with that. And you're just integrating lessons well. So they're also acknowledging that if there was a lot of prayer or a lot of pain on the maternal side, or if you've just been praying a lot, they hear you. But also there could just be, because we had that Empress energy coming through, a maternal figure in your life that's a lot. And that you might have been shouldering a lot of the pain after the death of the sibling, particularly the brother. So just be kind to yourself and don't take on more grief in this than you really need to, okay? We just looked at brother. Let's look at sister, for those of you that have a sister in spirit. How did she look at you? And what is her message for you? Okay. So, some of you, this kind of comes through like a more maternal sister. Whether she was younger or older, sometimes she slipped into the role of mother hen. Or you did a good job taking care of her. There's like more of a mother-child energy than there is a sister energy, if that makes sense. She definitely liked to be right. And interestingly enough, for those of you that might have just had a birth in the family or something, she's very happy about that. But she's like, you've got this. That's kind of what I'm getting with this, because we have a very independent card coming through when she looks at you. The Nine of Pentacles is someone who's independent and accomplishing a lot. Very close to what the brother energy was saying, but this is even more so. She's really, really proud of the fact that you can do this on your own. And is kind of there helping you with some of this, particularly if there's like a job or a task where you're trying to make it work. She's there helping in her own way. And that's what she's kind of saying. I speak subtly to you. Maybe it's through a song on the radio, through a billboard or a license plate or something. Like something will trigger a memory, and she's using synchronistic symbols and events to let you know, I'm here, I'm still here. And if you're open to receive visitation through dreams or meditation or clairaudience, like it does feel like this, of all of them, almost as much as the father, these people want to communicate, folks. So if you're open, they're open. And there's different ways to communicate. It doesn't have to just be the typical thing that you see in movies, okay? Okay. I'm just going to leave these out here because some of these I don't want them to repeat. So we're just going to leave that. Well, I feel like I need to make some room. So I'm going to keep the cards out of the deck that are out of the deck, except the tarot cards. These are going to have to repeat. But these that were powerful messages, I'm going to leave them to the side. Okay. Let's look at those of you that have lost a pet. What does the pet think of you? Is there a message? Okay, so the pet is at peace. That was the message here. We have sweet soul rising. Beautiful message here. Definitely on the other side. No, whatever pain they might have gone through or whatever, we're not seeing it here. So peaceful passage. I love that we have a card here with just all kinds of animals. So they very much felt at home, whether they were one or part of a larger family. And they also want you to continue to, for those of you that might be thinking of getting another pet or just feel good around nature or animals, this is an encouragement to spend more time doing that. And what I get here also is to slow down. So one thing that pets help us do, I'll be doing it with my dog here after this, is like take breaks, take walks, take care of yourself and of them. And maybe in the absence of that pet, there isn't as much self-care. And this is someone on the go, and they need to slow down just a little bit and be more present. And that's the main message here from the pet. But I do love that they are very much at peace. And let me just see if there's anything like from their personality that wants to come through. They didn't like to be told what to do. And they very much liked to be right there with you. So kind of like, if not like in your lap, like close to you. But it's a bossy energy. So strong personality coming forth from the pet, loving message coming through as well. Okay, let's look at like a just general grandparent message. All right, show me their personality. Show me what they think about you. And if there's any messages around that, because that's a complicated message. Okay, so the grandparent that came through was very proud of what they did. So the Wheel of Fortune, sometimes you can get this for like a person that immigrates to another country and it's like first generation, really focused on success and stability and purpose and all of that, and money and career. So there was a lot of that like hard work ethic that came through as a personality trait, maybe a little more focus on money than there needed to be. One thing that they're wanting you to do is to be mindful of overextending yourself. We have a card here titled Simplicity. It was reversed and we have a devil reversed. So you don't need to go down the same path that they did when it comes to money or belongings. In relationships, make sure that the person is available and sees just how much you're worth. That's a very grandparent thing to say. Like, are they good enough for you? And like just making sure that you're okay with that. Let me see what else is coming through with respect to the devil energy. Yeah, they have their own thoughts on your relationship status. And maybe they would have done a different matchmaking. That's, listen, this is always going to come through sometimes with certain types of family members. You get to live your own life, folks. So that's just their personality trait. You don't have to take that as like golden or worry about it too much. Another piece is they just wish that they could be a part of this, because the devil in reverse is like, I can't be there in the Two of Cups to celebrate it. I'm going to ask, separate from the grandparent, is there anything you need to know about your relationship or a relationship in your life? Page of Wands is just saying, make sure that there's more than the physical. Make sure that the other person is showing you exactly what you put into this relationship to. Like reciprocity is the main concern here. All right, other messages from the grandparents. Is there anything else that they want or need you to know about the simplicity? Six of Swords. So the Six of Swords is interesting. They might just be encouraging you to move on. And make the move, whatever it is that you need to move into. But like I said, because we're looking at something that's older, no disrespect to the ancestral spirits around me, you get to take that with a grain of salt. Because I know that, like, I'm sure my grandparents would have judgment about people that I've dated. So be that as it may, that's just some of their energy coming through. And the devil can be a little controlling. So that's just someone that's a busybody that wants the best for you. And they're also just very focused on this. Make sure that you can take care of yourself. Make sure that you're saving, all of that kind of stuff. It was a little more bossy than some of the other stuff, but depending on the grandparent that came through, there you go. And you don't have to take that. This is more just a confirmation that they're there than anything. I got much more of a spiritual vibe from the parents and the children. Did you notice that with the sort of the connections and looking at like all the tunnels and the light? So, that's, like I said, just take it all with a grain of salt. It's okay. All right. So I feel like now the only thing that would maybe be left is a partner or a friend. These are going to be probably a little more intense. Okay. So if you have a spouse that is gone, let's look at that first. Show me more of their personality. Okay. And show me what they see about you. Okay. And is there a specific message? Sorry, these are out of frame. Oh, okay. So there were two cards that came through. First, I wanted to just get a message about, like, show me who they are. So there's a detachment from materialistic or superficial. things as they've transcended into spirit. The first message is, I see it so much more clearly on this side. And the things that we stressed about, there is a we, don't matter. It didn't matter. Don't worry. Don't sweat the small stuff. That's definitely one of the messages here. Is to like, also there's a liberation for anybody that might have been suffering from an illness or whatever. Complete liberation here. I asked what they wanted to convey, and what they see with you is just love. Simply put, love. They miss the touch. They miss the togetherness. That is definitely there. And then I also wanted to know more of it. Like live more in the moment. We have the heart of the moment. There is a presence of mind and a presence of being that came through in this. There was someone that maybe they worked too hard or stressed too much and didn't focus on these little moments. And they missed the touch. And maybe, I know I had this experience with my mom when she was fading in and out, but like the one thing that was there was the holding of the hand. So whether that was something similar that you shared where they were holding your hand, or like as they were drifting out of consciousness or whatever, they felt your presence there, and they missed the touch. Just the simple touch of being. That's one thing that you can't do in spirit is you can have like, you can touch someone, but they can't touch you back. It's kind of like what we saw in Ghost, where you'd have to have like that kind of channeling for it to happen. Is there anything that you can do for them? Just make sure that you are doing what feels right for you. Like this is finding your balance, finding your firm foundation. They're giving you permission also to move on if you need to, but take care of yourself. Find the balance that's missing in your life. And you can do that on your own. So we have the 2 cups here. Notice that the scales also have a couple of containers or cups. So you've got to find that balance within. Okay? But nothing but love. A little bit of maybe wish or regret that what was focused on in life wasn't necessarily as important, but a lot of love coming forth. Okay? And friend. If there was a friend in your life, show me their personality. Show me, that was a tough personality card. Show me what they see in you at the moment. And show me what message they have for you. Okay. I have the Cher song in my head, If I Could Turn Back Time, as I'm looking at the rings of time. They were not, like, some of you might have had someone that passed too early. 3 of Swords can be depression, maybe someone that there was self-harm or something like that involved. But there was also just it happened fast. So I kind of get that where it was like, oh, the heart jumped out. Like, how did this happen so quickly? Nothing but love when they're looking at you. Again, a desire to be there. But they passed maybe in not the most ideal of circumstances or of moments. So let me see if there's anything you need to know about that. One thing that I feel like this person put too much pressure on themselves and to meet expectations of others. So these 2 cards together is like showing up as successful but being unhappy beneath the surface. The message here also, because this card was reversed, they were all reversed. The 10 of Cups, live your own best life. Be happy. Have fun. Know that they're there with you, but like this is a moment where you have to live your own life. Okay? How are they now? I want to know since they had the 3 of Swords. So I think one of the hardest things with this person was, I feel like they're on track. They might even be taking the shape of, because I have a very special connection with seeing vehicles in spirit. Typically, vehicles are associated in my own mediumship with guides. So if they had a troubled life, they are in spirit, in death, working it out as a guide to help other people get their life on track. It's kind of like, gosh, I don't want to cry, but I am going to cry if I open my eyes. So I'm just going to wait a second. This person couldn't get their own life on track, so they're helping other people do that. And it feels like they're finding a sense of peace and purpose, but they're working on the other side. Not everybody sits. So you get to do so many different things on the other side. You can learn. You can help. You can rest. You can travel. There's so many things before you potentially reincarnate. A lot of times you're waiting for your own soul family to get through their stuff, and then you all reincarnate as a soul family doing different roles in future lifetimes. So that's sometimes why there's this waiting period before reincarnation. This person is finishing up business that was left unfinished in spirit. That one was harder. I knew it was going to be harder when I saw the Three of Swords. So, yeah, there was something sudden or unexpected, and there was unfinished business. So one thing that I can also channel is just like, don't waste a minute. I mean, it's a universal message from all those who have passed. It all goes by so quickly. Those were the final words of my father before he went into hospice. Those were his last spoken words. It happens so quickly, like it all goes by so quickly. So don't let one moment get you down. It doesn't matter when you're on the other side, and every moment is precious on this side. So let's have some fun this week. Let's make some amazing, impactful decisions this week. Let's do the best that we can do to pivot our timelines, okay? We're going to meditate briefly, and then I'll wrap up this reading. I'm thinking about, I'm going to use some of the time that I have since I don't have to move this week. I want to do some sort of a session or like a class or something. We're going to do something special, and I'll announce it by the 1st or before the 1st, so you can sign up and we can kick off the new year. It's not just meditation. I want to do more than that. So I'm going to figure out something, and it'll either be weekly or daily. Probably weekly is easier lift for most of us, but I'll figure it out, and we'll announce it, and we'll work on some stuff together in the new year because it's been intense. So I might put a post up and ask you what you're looking for, and figure out over the course of next year, we might have some courses that we do, some teachings, some getting together energy. And it probably will be under the membership or Patreon or something like that. But for those that want to go a little deeper, I feel the calling, because I had a dream where I saw like a classroom overprinted over my apartment. I'm like, okay, it's time to teach. So I'm going to figure out what we're going to teach and how we're going to teach it. Okay? Let's meditate together. Close your eyes for a moment. We already did the final card, just messages around that. Close your eyes for a moment. And what did I say I was going to help you do? Shift timelines, I think. But let's just first focus on our own energy. Take a deep breath. Again, reinforce that circle of light that's always around your body. Imagine that the sun is shining down above you, connecting you directly to Source. I'm just going to channel some messages as we meditate as well, and we're going to go with that, okay? So these are channeled messages from Spirit, maybe still from some of the family members that are still in my head, that I'm going to release after this meditation. So I'd like all of the loved ones that we called into this message, this special bonus section, to join us in the light. So I see a collective circle of light. The family members are now in the center of the light. We are right around them, kind of holding hands. And here are the messages from them as they start to ascend back into Spirit and go to Source. The first message is this feeling of love. So place your hands on your heart and know that from all of the ancestors and family members that came through, that you are enough, more than enough for yourself and for others. And as we say that, I see many of them joining into the light and going back to Source, knowing that you've heard the message. Don't accept less than your worth. Know that if there's a person, place, or situation that doesn't meet your expectations or makes you feel less than, that in this moment in time, it's important, it's pivotal. It's not just okay, it's pivotal to stand up for yourself and push back and say, this isn't enough, or I need more. And as we say that, we allow the family members to go forth, the loved ones to go forth. It's okay to move on, to find love, to find new opportunities, and to embrace every moment, to live in the now. Live in the now. Don't focus on regrets. Don't fixate on future goals so much. Live right now. Breathe right now. Breathe more than you normally would. And for all the friends, family members, pets, and other energies that came forth, now it's your turn to step into the light, and we're going to send you and beam you this feeling of love. Let's help them cross a little bit further into this sort of energy of transition. So we're going to collectively pray for the well-being, the love, and the healing of the people that came forth. Let them know that they are heard and seen and always a part of this journey. Imagine kind of like the Care Bears, that you're beaming a light from your heart space towards them, helping them get back even higher up than they were before in the spiritual ascension that is the afterlife, whatever mysteries it might hold for them, that they are guided and protected, and just a little bit lighter for being able to express themselves today. All right, put your feet on the ground, put your hands on the table, or on some solid object, and know that you are here, that your life is continuing, that today is the most important day of that life because you are breathing, you are making decisions, you are shifting your timeline into the best possible outcome. Gently open your eyes. Welcome back. That was a little intense. Thank you, everybody, for joining. I'm going to do something special for New Year's. I'll figure out what that is, New Year's Eve. And I'll be back again next Sunday, same place for now, until I find something better. And thank you for being a part of this. I'm going to take a couple of moments to recognize those that showed up today and that gave back in some way, shape, or form. First, just for everybody. It's enough to just be here. But for those that gave back a little bit, thank you. It makes everything possible here. And, you know, just as an example, like all those shorts videos that I do, I make like $1 total on those, but I put in almost like an hour sometimes to an hour and a half. These videos, these weekend ones where you show support, that's how I'm able to do what I'm doing. So thank you for showing up. Like the revenue share isn't what you think it would be for the videos. And a lot of YouTubers work really, really hard. So all of this that you give back, when I say thank you, I mean it with my heart. So thank you so much. But just showing up and even watching an ad, that helps. Okay, so to everybody else, particularly those that gave back, I want to give some gratitude. So Frederick, thank you so much for gifting 5 memberships to very deserving souls out there. I appreciate you. I also noticed that you're a member yourself, so thank you. To all of the following, thank you for gifting and helping us meet our target so we could do that very impactful, very special, very unexpected channeling at the end. So thank you to, let's see, it's Darius for your sticker and for being a member, Net Chick for being a member and your sticker, Blue Butterfly for being a member and your sticker, K and X, thank you for your sticker. Colette, a member and also a sticker, thank you, and number 2 contributor. Pauses and Passages for your sticker. Holistic Jess for your sticker. Colette again for being a member and your sticker. Kathy for your sticker. 2 in a row, thank you so much to Maria for those stickers. Yolanda again, thank you very much for your sticker. 5 memberships sent by Mindful Steps, I appreciate that. Kim K7131, thank you for your sticker and for being a member. Deborah for the sticker and membership. Jamie for the sticker and membership. Natural Linghund or something. I'm not sure how to say that, but thanks for joining and rejoining as a member. Yolanda, thank you for your sticker. Katie, thank you for your sticker. Kim K, thank you for a membership and your sticker. Colette, thank you again for being a member and for your sticker. Net Chick, again, for helping us meet that special target that I had today. Let's see. Oath, the Most High, thank you for your sticker. Naturalinghun, thank you for the sticker. Hearts for Healing, thank you so much for the kind words, for being a member, and for the sticker. Hanangul, I think it is. Thank you for your sticker. I appreciate that. I only can see the handles, so if it's a strange handle, I can't always say it. So apologies. Thank you for 2 in a row, by the way, Handangul. And welcome back. Good to see you. Thank you for being a member and for your sticker. Mindful Steps for the membership in the sticker. MSD1955, thank you for your sticker and for being a longtime member. Colette, same thing to you. K and X, the second or third sticker I've seen in a row. I appreciate you. Colette, again, for showing up in multiple ways. Thank you very much. Shelly, thank you for being a longtime member and also for your sticker. Same thing to Georgia 2733. Rob, hey, buddy. Good to see you. Thanks for your contribution and always showing up. I appreciate that. Colette, again, for being a number 2 contributor, for your sticker and for your membership status. Rhonda, thank you very much for having a sticker in today's chat. Colette again, Georgia again, Colette again. You guys rock. I know that many of you are helping us make that special bonus. K and X again, Net Chick again. I'm saying the names every time I see them. Okay, wow. We have Jane, a member for 35 months. I got to just get closer. Even with my glasses, it's small. Mindful Steps, a member for 14 months. Thank you so much for both of those long-term engagements. Janae, I think it is. Thank you for being a member and for that sticker. Jacqueline, thank you very much for that cute sticker created by Dean. I appreciate your sticker. Donna Green, thanks for also being a member and for your sticker. And thanks to Popcorn for the Capricorn solstice love there. Much appreciation. And I think we got everything for today. That was a lot. And I appreciate it. Like I said, it's all made possible by you. We're going to do some fun things in the new year. And since I'll be here this week, I'll try to churn out all of the January readings, which I'm kind of putting a little bit of a quarterly forecast with. So keep an eye out for those this week. And have a great week ahead. Great holiday season. Whatever holidays you might celebrate, or just a happy end of the year and a happy new year upcoming if you don't celebrate anything. Let's give Apollo a little pat on the head and wrap it up for today. Hey, buddy. How's my best friend doing? Thank you so much. Good to see you too. You're a good boy. We got to get him groomed next week. He's looking a little bit shaggy. All right, everybody, have a fantastic week. I'll see you soon. Much love and light. Bye-bye.